Okay, so you're ready for some IPL action.
Let's do it.
All right, so today is March 26th, 2025, and we've got a really exciting match lined up.
Yeah, should be a good one.
It's match number 6 of this year's IPL, and it's the Rajasthan Royals taking on the Kolkata Knight Riders down in Guwahati.
At the Barsapara Cricket Stadium.
Right, and we want to sort of go beyond just, looking at the basic stats and the headlines and really dig into what makes this a game to watch, right?
Absolutely.
This is like the deep dive. So let's get right into it. What's really interesting to me right off the bat is that both of these teams are coming off losses in their opening matches.
Yeah, that's right. They are both hungry for that first win.
Right. So for the Royals, man, they put up a huge score, right? I mean, 242 for 6 against the Sunrisers Hyderabad.
You'd think that'd be enough.
You're right. But they ended up losing by 44 runs.
Yeah.
Kishan just had incredible innings, and their bowling kind of fell apart.
Yeah, the batting was there, but they couldn't defend it.
Exactly. And then you've got the Kolkata Knight Riders, the defending champions, and they had a bit of a stumble themselves, losing to RCB by 7 wickets at Eden Gardens.
Not the start they were hoping for.
No, not at all. So I think there's a lot of pressure on both sides to kind of right the ship and get a win here. So let's start by looking at the Rajasthan Royals in a bit more detail. What do you think is the most interesting thing about their situation right now?
Well, the captaincy situation is really interesting.
Okay, how so?
Well, Sanju Samson, their regular captain, he's unavailable for the first 3 games.
Right.
So Ryan Parag is leading the side.
Okay.
That changes the dynamic quite a bit. How will that affect his own performance? Will he be able to handle the pressure of leading the team, especially after that first loss?
And with such a high score.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, a lot to think about.
A lot of questions there.
All right, so let's talk about their predicted batting order for today's match. At the top, we're probably going to see Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Explosive young batsman.
Right? He can really take a game away from the opposition if he gets going.
For sure.
Partnering him, we'll likely see Shubham Dubey. They've invested in him, so it seems like they've got some high hopes.
Promising talent, for sure.
And then coming in at number 3, you've got the experience of Nitish Rana. He brings some stability to the middle order.
Good anchor in that middle order.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then at number 4, the captain himself, Ryan Parag.
Do you think we'll see a more cautious approach from him now that he's captain?
It's a good question. I mean, we know he likes to attack.
You're right.
But maybe with the added responsibility, we'll see a slightly different side to his batting.
Interesting to see how he approaches it.
Yeah. And then at number 5, you've got Dhruv Jurel coming off that fantastic 70 in the last match.
Yeah, he's full of confidence right now.
Exactly. And to round out the likely top 6, you've got Shimron Hetmeyer, the West Indian power hitter.
Oh, yeah. Loves to clear the ropes.
So, I mean, on paper, that's a pretty formidable batting lineup.
No doubt about it.
But of course, cricket's not just about batting. Let's talk about their bowling attack. Leading the pace department is Jofra Archer.
Pace and accuracy.
Yeah, he can be unplayable on his day. And then you've got the Sri Lankan spin wizard, Wanindu Hasaranga.
So much variety in his bowl.
Yeah, he can really tie batsmen down and pick up those crucial wickets.
For sure.
And then to fill out the rest of the attack, they'll likely go with Tushar Deshpande, Sandeep Sharma, and Fazalak Farooqi. So it looks like a pretty balanced bowling unit.
On paper, yeah, it does.
But, and this is the big question, right? They put up 242 runs in their last game, and they still lost.
Yeah.
So the question for all of you listening out there is, what went wrong with their bowling? What adjustments do you think they need to make to actually defend a big score if their batsmen fire again today?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, they have the firepower to put up big totals, but they need to find a way to take wickets, disrupt those partnerships, control the middle overs.
What specifically do you think they need to focus on?
I think getting early wickets with Archer's pace is going to be vital, and then how they use Hasaranga in the middle overs to really squeeze the opposition. They might need to be a bit more clever with their field placements, maybe vary their pace a bit more.
Okay, good points. So let's move on to the Kolkata Knight Riders now. They're the defending champions, so obviously there's a lot of expectation on them. They're going to be desperate to get their title defense back on track after that loss to RCB.
Yeah, they'll be looking for a big response.
Absolutely. And their batting wasn't the issue in that game, so I imagine they're feeling pretty confident about their ability to score runs.
Yeah, no shortage of firepower there.
All right, so let's break down their predicted playing XI for today. It looks like they're going to open with Quinton de Kock, the experienced South African.
Solid foundation at the top of the order.
Yeah, exactly. And then they've got Sunil Narine opening alongside him. That was a bit of a surprise in the last game, but it worked really well.
That quick fire of 50.
Yeah, so I imagine they'll stick with that.
Yeah, why not? If it works, stick with it.
Exactly. And then coming in at number 3, you've got their captain, Ajinkya Rahane. He's Mr. Dependable.
Yeah, he can anchor the innings, rotate the strike.
Exactly. And then you've got Venkatesh Iyer at number 4.
Good all-rounder.
Yeah, he gives them another bowling option as well, which is always handy.
Versatility is key in this format.
Yeah. And then at number 5, you've got Rinku Singh, the finisher.
Yeah.
He's cool customer under pressure.
Yeah, he's shown that he can handle those high-pressure situations.
Exactly. And to round out their likely top 6, you've got the one and only Andre Russell.
The big man.
Yeah, if he gets going, it's game over.
Can change the game in and over.
Absolutely. So that's a pretty powerful batting lineup right there.
No doubt about it.
But what about their bowling? How do you see their attack shaping up today?
Well, leading the spin attack, they've got Varun Chakravarthi, the mystery spinner.
Always a threat.
Definitely hard to pick him. Then you've got the raw pace of Anrich Nortje. He can really hurry those batsmen up.
Yeah, intimidating pace.
And then to complete the attack, it looks like they'll probably go with Harshit Rana, Ramandeep Singh, and Mayank Markanday.
So similar to the Royals, it seems like their batting was pretty strong in their opening match, but their bowling maybe wasn't quite as effective as they would have liked.
Yeah, they'll be hoping for an improved performance from their bowlers.
Yeah, so the question for you listening is, on a different pitch, away from Eden Gardens, do you think they can find more success and restrict this Rajasthan Royals batting lineup? What adjustments do you think they might make?
Well, the conditions in Guwahati will be different, that's for sure.
Right.
The Barsapara Stadium might offer a bit more pace and bounce, which could suit someone like Norche.
Okay.
Chakravarthi's variations will be key regardless, but if there's any turn in the pitch, he could be even more dangerous.
Right.
I think they might also consider maybe being a bit more aggressive with their field settings, try and force the issue a bit more.
Okay, so let's talk about the pitch at the Barsapur Stadium in a bit more detail. I mean, it's known for being quite a batsman-friendly track, right?
Yeah, generally a good surface for batting, high scores.
We're expecting some big totals today, then.
Yeah, I think we could see scores pushing 200, maybe even more with these batting lineups.
Wow.
Good bounce and carry.
Right, so that'll suit the likes of Jaiswal and Marine and Russell if they get going.
Absolutely, it's a paradise for stroke makers.
But it's not just about the batsmen, is it? What about the bowlers? Do they have any chance on this pitch?
Well, as the game goes on, spinners can come into play if the surface starts to wear a bit.
So guys like Hasaranga and Chakravarthi could be key.
Exactly. Controlling those middle overs will be crucial.
Okay, good insight. Now, what about the toss? Is there a preferred strategy at this venue? Do teams like to bat first or chase?
Most teams have had more success chasing at Barsapara.
Why is that?
Well, the floodlights come on, the pitch might settle down a bit in the evening, and of course, you know what you need to do when you're chasing.
Makes sense. So you're saying the toss could be a big factor in today's match?
Absolutely. I'd say whoever wins the toss will probably elect to bowl first.
Interesting. So for those listening at home, pay attention to that toss. It could be a big indicator of how the game might unfold.
For sure.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit and look at the historical head-to-head record between these two teams. What does that tell us?
Well, interestingly, KKR have a slight edge overall. In 28 matches, they've won 14.
Okay.
Rajasthan have won 12, and there have been 2 no results.
So it's been a pretty tight contest over the years.
Yeah, pretty evenly matched.
But hasn't Rajasthan been the dominant team in recent encounters?
That's right, they have had the upper hand lately. They've won 3 of the last 5 matches.
And they had that memorable clash last season at Eden Gardens.
Oh yeah, that was a thriller.
Joss Butler's century.
Amazing innings, helped Rajasthan chase down 224.
That was some game. So Kolkata will be looking to turn the tables on that recent trend, won't they?
Yeah, they'll want to prove they can get the better of the Royals.
Okay, so for those of you who are playing fantasy cricket today, let's look at some potential Dream 11 picks. Who do you think are the must-haves for this game?
Well, in the wicket-keeper category, Dhruv Dural looks like a great pick.
Based on current form, yeah.
Absolutely, coming off that 70. And then Quinton de Kock for KKR. He's always dangerous at the top of the order.
All right, what about batsmen?
Well, you can't go wrong with your Shotzi Jaiswal.
Explosive potential.
Sunil Narine as well. You get points for his batting and his bowling. Ajinkya Rahane is always a good bet for some solid points. And then Rinku Singh if you think KKR will be chasing a target.
Okay, so lots of options in the batting department. What about all-rounders?
Well, Andre Russell's the obvious choice.
Mr. T20.
Exactly. A captaincy option for sure. And then Ryan Parag now that he's captaining the Royals.
All right, and for the bowlers?
Jofra Archer's got to be in there. You know he's going to pick up wickets. Varun Chakravarthi's spin could be very effective. And then Enrich Nortje. Pace is always a good option.
Okay, so if we were to put together a sample Dream 11 team, what might that look like?
Well, I'd go with Jural as the wicketkeeper. Batsmen would be Jaiswal, Nareen, and Rahane. All-rounders would be Russell and Parag. And for the bowlers, Archer, Chakravarthi, and Nortje.
That's a strong lineup.
Good balance.
Yeah, good mix of top-order runs, middle-over wickets, and death-over hitting potential. For captaincy, I think Russell's a good shout, and if Rajasthan bat first, maybe Jaiswal is vice-captain.
Sounds like a good strategy.
Now, the impact player rule has really shaken things up a bit.
Yeah, it adds a whole new dimension to the game.
So who do you think are the potential impact players we might see today?
Well, for Rajasthan, Trent Bolt is a prime candidate.
If they need to make an early breakthrough.
Exactly, or if they need some control at the death. And then Ravman Powell, he can add some serious firepower to their batting.
What about Prasidh Krishna?
Yeah, he's another option if they want to beef up their pace attack. For KKR, if he's fit, Moeen Ali could be a great impact player. Spin bowling and some handy batting.
Right.
And then maybe Ravman Powell, again, actually he's in both squads. Or they could go for a specialist bowler like Chetan Sakaria.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they use those impact players.
Yeah, absolutely, a real tactical battle there.
Now, just to give our listeners a sense of the overall depth in these squads, let's quickly run through some of the other key players who might not be in the starting XI, but could still play a part in this match.
All right, so for Rajasthan, they've got batting options like Shubham Dubey, Nitish Rana, Shimron Hetmeyer, and Tom Kohler-Catmore. And in the bowling department, they've got Trent Bolt, Prasidh Krishna, Navdeep Saini, Keshav Maharaj, Avesh Khan, and Kuldeep Sen.
Yeah, they're not short of options.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah.
For KKR, they've got Venkatesh Iyer, Rinku Singh, Ankrish Raghuvanshi, Ramanula Gurbaz, Manish Pandey, Luminous Sisodia, Anukul Roy.
Wow, that's a lot of names.
Yeah, and for the bowlers, they've got Harshit Rana, Ramandeep Singh, Mayank Markande, Vaibhav Arora, Anukul Roy, Ravman Powell, Moeen Ali, Chetan Sakaria, and Spencer Johnson.
So both teams have plenty of depth.
Plenty of talent to choose from.
All right, so looking at everything we've discussed, what's your gut feeling about how this game might go? Who do you think has the edge?
Ugh, that's a tough one.
It's a close call, isn't it?
Yeah, really tough to call. You know, Rajasthan, they have that recent head-to-head advantage, and their batting lineup seems perfect for this pitch.
Right.
But KKR, they're the defending champions. They've got players like Russell and Nareen who can win a game on their own. I think the toss is going to be massive, and then it's just going to come down to who adapts better to the conditions.
So you're predicting a close one.
Yeah, I think it could go right down to the wire, maybe even the last over.
Okay, well, that's all the insight we have time for today. Thanks for breaking down this match for us.
My pleasure.
All right, so for all you listeners out there, we've looked at the form of both teams, the predicted playing 11s, the pitch conditions in Guwahati, the head-to-head record, some fantasy cricket picks, the potential impact players, and the overall depth of both squads. It's all set up for a thrilling encounter. Now, here's something to think about as you watch the game. Given Rajasthan's recent dominance against KKR and that batsman-friendly pitch, whose strategic approach do you think is going to be more effective in getting that crucial first win of the season? Will Rajasthan's batting firepower be enough, or will KKR's experience give them the edge? That's something to ponder as you enjoy what promises to be a fantastic game of cricket.
Enjoy the match, everyone.
We'll see you next time for another Deep Dive.
See you then.
Bye for now.